All right. Well, this is just a test to see how this is going to go. Not sure exactly what I am going to do here other than just kind of test to see how this is working. One thing I do want to do while I'm doing this test, I think I'll go ahead and turn my TV on. Come on, TV. All right. All right. We got the living room coming up here, which is the Apple box. And then I get into my YouTube stream. Let's see if it's on here. Subscriptions. I think I subscribed to my own stuff. It's not in there yet. Okay, let's try me. Oh. Library. Can I just look at my channel, please? Yeah, this is how I'm your videos. That's May 2nd's test. That was a terrible way. Let's see here. Watch later. No. Liked. No. More. Oh, live. Let's see if live has anything here. Oh, it's just everything live. It's not. What about my subscriptions again? I don't think I'm subscribed to myself. I don't know I can do that. And not going to be able to probably do that on the TV. All right. That was a nice idea, but that's not going to work. In that case, if I want to see if I'm working, I have a phone. I put the thing down, and I kind of stir what to do with my phone now. I had it. Oh, it's over here. Let's see. Well, there we go. YouTube. I'm going to go to me. View my channel. At least in the app I can do that. Ooh, it says live streaming of Jeff Lutz. Live. Let's see here what we got. My channel. Holy cow. Live streaming of Jeff Lutz. Live. Wow. Let's see here what we got. My channel. Holy cow. Live streaming of Jeff Lutz. Wow. All right. You can hear that in the background. All right. Sound is good. Turn that off. Sound is good. My sweaty hat head. Let's see here. So we'll just do a real quick analysis. I just want to take a look here with what the country's got. We have high pressure up in this area. Oh, I can't do that with my pencil. Low and a stationary front. Yeah. Okay. Temperature. There's a temperature contrast there. Okay. Low going up into there. The other end of the low is up in Pennsylvania. All right. Cool. So I can flip back. So I found a new piece of software called Camo Studio. So I'm giving it a test shot. And the nice thing with Camo Studio that I have found is that I can do exactly what I'm doing right now. Now, the one problem I have is that the camera it's using right now is the one directly there in the middle there. So it's got a really bad perspective on my face. You know, if I were to do this, I'd do it up a little higher and have that in there. But I think there's a way for me to do that with my phone as a web thing, but I will have to figure that out. That would be kind of nice to have that as the web camera. I know that there was a way to do it on my Mac. See, the problem I ran into was my Mac is not responding well to being tied to my tablet. I think it's the age of the Mac Mini. It's a 2018, which it'll support this stuff, but I'm starting to wonder whether it can handle the high resolution, the higher resolution stuff that the there we go. So one of the things I've been trying to get used to with this is my pencil. I can tap it twice and it will switch over to the eraser. 06. I'll leave this as 06. The nice thing with this, and this is a 0Z plot. So I've done this, I did a blog post earlier today. Wasn't very well organized in my brain at the time, but I was trying to get things going. And then I found out on my website that it won't create the directory for the new month in the media directory within WordPress. So Mary is going to work with the people, since that's her area. She used to run a blog. Well, she still runs a blog. She doesn't do much with it. But it, come on. There we are. We're going to erase these. She doesn't do a whole lot with it now, as far as like she used to. She used to run a business that was specifically for helping people as a virtual assistant. There we go. And she used to administer web pages, and specifically CSS type blogs, so that you could see if there were problems with it. She would help them troubleshoot that stuff. So she got quite good at it. I don't think that's a 1013 high. Let's see here. 0. There's 1,000 millibars. That may be more like a 1003. So we'll do run 1,000 millibars down there. That looks about right. There's 998. Well, that's 992. So we'll do that. 98. There's a 96. There's a 94. Who knows? That's all guessed by now. I'd have to look at other stuff a little bit closer. But we are on 0Z, and this would be the 6th now. Even though calendar day so far, it's the 5th. So one of the things I was happy to see was that I was able to get my Rode Wireless Micro. That's these things. There's a pair of wireless mics in it, and the thing plugs in, the receiver plugs into the USB-C on my phone and my tablet. So Mary and I can run around and take video and pictures and have everything going. And then Cam Studio, as far as I can tell, here, let's just double check. I turned it all off. I should have just muted the sound so I didn't have to hear it. But I wanted to take a look. Oh, you can hear that in the background, so I didn't have to hear it. Oh yeah, nice. But I wanted to take a look. You can hear that in the background. Okay, Yep, it's still running, and this is allowing me to stream from the tablet and be able to use the editing features. Now, I can't do the music that I used to do with my old podcast from a long time ago, which was called Northern Michigan Rec Weather. It's kind of a way for me to like play in the sandbox in podcasting back in the day. I used to use a service called what was it called before it went to Mevio? Pod Show. Yeah, so there was and you could, and with their software, you could upload stuff and create a podcast. And I would do that while I was still in the weather service. But I used an assumed name at the time. Eventually I didn't. There we go. And only because it was kind of a gray area. And the reason it was a gray area was because of the fact that at the time we were still having a bunch of issues with the I don't want a 13. That's okay. 14. Let's move my monitor picture over there. Oh, there's no 14s up there. Okay. So we'll just no, it won't do it. Okay. Anyway. All right. So that was what I wanted to get. Okay. So where was I? Oh, yes. Podcast. So what I did was I would only use graphics from the Weather Service website. I never claimed money on it. So in fact, my tablet or my channel is still not monetized. I will probably try to turn that into a monetized thing. We'll see. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But I never did the forecasting while I was at the office, so I wasn't using any of the office equipment. I had all my own, website things that I could get all the data from. So it was kind of a gray area. They couldn't, if they had, and I was able to defend myself, I probably could have, they would have seen that there was no conflict of interest or ethics thing. So, because I wasn't doing any of that stuff to make money. So, oh, I see. So, I'm going to do oops, I need this, and I want this. I'm going to do a dotted blue line. Where do I want to do it? Looks like right about here. The low's up in here, up in the upper corner here. Oh yeah. And the reason I make it a dotted blue line is because I'll fill it in with a dotted red line here in a bit. The only thing is that once you get out into the Gulf, let's see here. I have it? Nope. I need to go back to it. Yeah, nope, not that one. That one. Oh, they have it as a stationary front all the way through the central part of the Gulf. Okay. Yeah, there's a bit of a temperature gradient in between the two, so this is what I was looking at, see how I needed to possibly do something here. Oh, it's not doing it now. Oh, because it's only when I'm doing markup. Alright, so we'll move over here, back to this. That is the one thing, is that you get to see the streaming guts of the software. I was trying to do it on OBS on my Mac, and so that I could just feed this stuff and that I could just swap through things without having to see all that stuff. But it's okay. Oh, somewhere in here I have, there it is. So now I'll change it to red. What is going on here? There we go. Come on. Why is my tablet not changing to red? Yeah, let's do this. There we go. Alright. Or my pencil. Now, I would say, when I was in the Weather Service and I would do this stuff with my colored pencils, that's what I would do. And this goes all the way out here. So there, we can click that off. Oh man, my nose is itchy. Okay, so what we got going right now. Now these colors on the green are flood watches of various types. Looks like aerial ones. The red, I believe, because the Weather and Hazards Data Viewer, that's done by Western Region. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I know where it's at. Not there. It's on this page. There it is. The original one has, let's see, we can pull up its overlays. There we are. And legend. Okay, so you can kind of see. So the watch, severe thunderstorm watches are these pale red, and the yellows are tornado watches, like out here in West Texas. In fact, we can click on it, I believe. Yep, tornado watch. And you click on this one down here. Oh, come on. Close out. And we'll click on this one. There we go. Severe thunderstorm watch. Oh, for 18 minutes and down in the Houston area. It's north of the Corpus Christi one, so it's not as concerned with it. So usually in most of the Weather Service and a lot of the online, the colors are flipped. Usually red are tornado watches, and then very deep red is tornado warning, and then the and severe thunderstorms usually yellow. But whatever you have out here is a small craft advisory, which goes until 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So the winds are going to start getting a little bit stronger coming in off of the Gulf because this front's hanging around. Okay, so 21Z, so that is -5. That's yeah, so that was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then the latest 0Z, where I had it, was the one I just analyzed. Come on. There we go. You still see it hasn't really changed a whole lot. I probably could have gone a little farther north because it looks like there's a bit of a trough in there, but I kind of kept it where the wind shifts were and trying to get some of the capture some of the temperature gradient, but there's not a lot of temperature gradient out over the Gulf. It's not like there's something really strong going. Oh, all my numbers changed to blue. That was weird. Maybe that was why it wouldn't change for me. Huh. That was kind of funky. Let's see here. There we go. We'll just highlight these again. All the ones at the top, for some reason. All right, so that's where we're at right now. If you read my blog post this morning, we'll go ahead and let me put done. Done. Now it gets saved off into my pictures. Save today. Boom, boom. Hey, family pictures and all the stuff. Oh, and now I got my screen of things. Okay. Safari. Here we are. So, all right. So the enhanced area, and I could probably take a snapshot real quick and so I can mark it up. Although I think because I'm here we can do a little markup. It's going to change it over to a PDF style thing, and we are going to use some blue. But here, this is extended further down. Let's use a different one. Let's do. So it's extended a little further south and east than where it was. The original day one was up in this general area here. But it still hasn't really changed down in the Corpus Christi area. This is Baffin Bay, Corpus Bay, Copano, San Antonio, Matagorda. So it's just barely getting into the forecast area. A little bit of marginal looks like it would be out in Webb. And in fact, if I go to my bookmarks, I just need to say done on this one, and I'm going to delete the PDF, and I am going to go to bookmarks. Oops. We'll say live stream. Nope, that's not where I got it. Analysis. No, maybe it's just in the weather ones. I got to remember where I put everything. SPC graphics. Here we go. And we're going to do CWA. And we're going to select Corpus Christi, Texas. There's nothing going in northern Michigan, so I'm sorry, all of you northern Michigan people. Oh, there we go, and it's loading up. There we go. So the Corpus Christi office, I'm going to do this again. Oh, that actually works out better. I'm going to do this by PDF markup. Okay. So the Corpus Christi office, oh, that looks like a good color. It's kind of in charge of this area. Not kind of, we are. This is where we do our forecasting. Duval, go around Hebronville. There we go. And then we go out 60 nautical miles. Somewhere out here. That's it. So a little bit in the Victoria area is in the slight risk. There's some marginal in there as well, kind of roughly going from the Victoria Crossroads, which is these counties up here. This is the brush country, pretty much from I want to say here westward. This is the brush country. And the Rio Grande Plains, which you may hear from them time to time, be this area in here, which is actually a part of the brush country. The hill country's up here. Anyway, so most of it's up in San Antonio, New Braunfels office area. And then if we go into tomorrow, there's a marginal risk for almost all of South Texas, and all the way into deep South Texas down to Brownsville. Looks like on day 3 we keep the marginal, and looking at the probabilistic portion of it, probability of severe weather, we're at a 15 to 14% chance. Oh, it doesn't divide it out like it does in the, days 1 and 2. And most of ours is wind or hail is the issue. Tonight there is some tornado threats up north in from Goliad over to Port Lavaca, roughly, and up into Pleasanton. So those are the areas that you would, but it's a very small, it's a 2 to 4% chance of a tornado occurring within 25 miles of a point. You can do that and get away with it. It just means that there's the likelihood of you seeing one specifically is pretty low. So to move on, I kind of go through here to WPC and take a look. And it looks like the marginal risk for excessive rainfall is going to be north up of Matagorda Bay, maybe up around Victoria at least a little bit. They do have a, where did I put it? I had the ERO listed here somewhere. It's in here. Weather, no, that's not it. And they have a, oh, I know where to get it from. It's probably why I didn't bookmark it. Okay. So, I'm going to go zoom in on Corpus Christi. Yeah, my workflow is a little choppy here. We will see what happens as I get better at this. Yeah, so the Victoria area has a, what is it? There it is. At least a 5% chance of exceeding flash flood guidance. So some of these are going to be heavy rainers. So you just got to be able to, just have to keep an eye on these. But it's also where there's expecting to be the most severe weather is up towards that area. Day 2, most of the area is in excessive heavy rain with a slight chance, marginal chance, marginal risk in most of the area, with a little tiny bit up in Victoria, up near Victoria, which is in a slight risk. Day 3, we're back to the marginal everywhere, pretty much, except for portions of the brush country. And then day 4 and day 5, we are clear. So there is a chance for getting some heavy rain up in our area. Down here, let's see here. Let's just double check Michigan. I don't think there's going to be anything that big of a deal. Most of the action, because of the Omega block, which is currently going on, soon to turn into a Rex block, is going to don't be concerned about that. It's 16 days out. Okay. This is not a forecast. As a guy I used to work with at AccuWeather, it's just lines on paper. All right, we'll start it all over again here at the beginning, using United States. If we loaded up the upper air, there's a big area low pressure up over here. You can kind of see it with these height lines. So these are the 1,000 or the thickness lines. So these are the 1,000 to 500 millibar thickness. So that's how thick the atmosphere is, roughly from the surface to about I think it's 15 or 17,000 feet, something like that. And then you can kind of see that same sort of configuration here. And then there's a little bit of a ridge in the middle of all this. Well, that's an Omega block. So weather gets shunted to the south, weather gets shunted to the north. The lows have weather with them. These don't move very fast. But if we were to take a look at, and I will move this bookmark thing out of the way. But if we were to take a look at the upper air at 500 millibars, oh, there we go. Okay, so the thing is, to get these to move, you got to get a bunch of energy to get down into the trough, and that's what's going on now. Is that we've got these wind speeds are strong enough that it starts to move the system along, and then this area, little area low pressure, gets caught up into it, so it kind of moves along. So here's the one thing, is that we have a trough in this area, and we have a ridge here. So when you get a high over a low, high over low, that's known as a Rex block. And those don't tend to move very fast. And you can kind of see all the energy gets pushed south and all the rest of the energy gets pushed north. It's because the low is near us, that's why we start running into problems with some, I wouldn't say problems here, but we need the rain. But that's what the idea is. And you kind of see it just sits. These don't move very fast until you get a big honking low pressure system to dive in out of the Pacific and to kind of start moving the system along, and then things start to move across the country again. And then it sets up another ridge down in South Texas. So that's what we got going. And let's see, that's the 21st at 18Z. So that would be about the time that we are about halfway from between Sonora, Texas and Las Cruces, New Mexico-ish, which is when Mary and I are going to be leaving Seabreeze RV Park. It's been a great run here for the last 2 years. I hate to say goodbye to some people. Here was this was this morning's 500 millibar chart. You can kind of see yes, you can see the lows on both sides of these. I wish you could see my fingers. If I had a mouse, I could do it, but I have to go into markup mode. Just have to get used to doing that. So here's the one low and the other upper level low, and here's the ridge, and then there's another ridge here. And so this helps to slow the pattern down. But like I said, you can kind of see these winds here. They're starting to get incorporated into this area of low pressure, and these are coming out. So it's wanting to push this along. And if this one wants to move, this one's going to have to move, even though there's not a lot of energy going around it. So it eventually gets moving. However, this ridge kind of stays in place, and this low moves in here, and that's when it stops and becomes a Rex block with the high over the low. So the upper Midwest plains and the Great Lakes are probably going to not see a whole lot of precipitation over the next week or so with that Rex block going along. And currently, with what is happening up there right now, they're not seeing a whole lot out of this. Most of the rain is centered with that low that's over Kentucky. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on out in the tropics, the current, make sure everything is okay for the next 7 days. The Hurricane Center doesn't see anything. Oh, I see the last time that they did anything was March 18th. I know there were some people who have been talking about it, and as I said when I kind of had that pivotal weather map up, that there could be an issue, that I said don't panic over that, which is true. You don't want to panic over that. And when it's 386 hours out, or basically 16 days, you don't want to panic over that type of stuff. I'm going to switch over to Tropical Tidbits, because sometimes he's got a much better sense of maps that I can use. The same models. I should give Levi some money, because he does this all on a value for value sort of thing. So you can see the low pressure systems trying to move through South Texas there for the first few days, and then as we get further and further along, and then you'll notice down by Central America. So we'll move my picture across here, and I am going to do another markup. So in this general area, let's see if I can get something that's a little thicker, a little bit more fine pointed. Let's do this. Okay, so this area here, oh my God, up the thickness on it. There we go. So down here, you start getting into this Caribbean Sea gyre, Central American gyre. So you get an area of just kind of low pressure that gets going. The GFS has a tendency to want to fire things off, especially last year. Whenever we saw something that far out, we were never really that impressed with it. Oh, I need to get back out of this. Delete that one. All right, now we can move it again. But you can see down there by Nicaragua and Panama, coming up through the Caribbean Sea, this, I mean, that's a hurricane there. And then it goes across Cuba by, yeah, the 21st of May. You know, like I said, this is 2 weeks out. And this thing starts 17. That's still almost 2 weeks out. That's 12 days from now. Yeah, so that's not expected to really do anything at this point. Now, I will say the European usually has usually a better grasp up here, not so much tropical sometimes, but I think it's got the right idea, which is there's nothing other than just showers and thunderstorms along the ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, which is kind of running through there. We should be getting into the monsoon season, and you can see, here, let me draw this up too. You can see coming into the next week. Oops, there we go. Every time my hand hits it, you have all this. Move that over. Okay, good. All of this. This is the Intertropical Convergence Zone. And then this would be the Central American gyre in this general area. Sometimes it gets up into here. Anyways, so that's what we are looking at right now. Now this starts to get buckle, and then as we get waves that come off of Africa, then we have to watch for that. That's usually, there's two times that we got to watch for things. One is coming up out of the Gulf early in the season, because it's easy, because it tends to be warmer water. It's kind of disconnected. There is a loop current that runs through there that's kind of a part of the Gulf Stream, which kind of goes up this way. I should clear all this off, and then you guys can, and I'll draw it with a different color. Oops. Oh, object eraser. There we go. Alright, so now we'll just change it. We'll change it to a red. So the Gulf Stream gets its initial start. Find the edge. Oh, here's. Yeah. Oh, those are low pressure systems. Okay, so off the north coast of South America, up here, and then it goes up and then around Cuba, and then up the east coast and then out. But then you'll get a loop current, which is why the Gulf of Mexico is known for sometimes having dead zone problems, because it'll get overheated, because it just does not have a good connection to water that's with cooler water available that's out of the Atlantic. So with everything that's running this way on the surface, it's running the opposite direction, deep underwater, the other way. Except you don't get that in here, so it's because it doesn't. The Gulf is not as deep as the rest of the area around there. So anyway, we are. That is just something right now at this point that we will have to deal with. So then after that, you also get a lot of the ones off of the 8 waves off of Africa once we get past dust season. So the Saharan dust will be an issue as well. If we look a little bit at the European, and I want precipitation and moisture. Yeah, that'll work. So you can kind of see that the mean shows that gyre down there, but it doesn't really show anything trying to get out. So there's not enough ensemble data to do that. Now, if we look at the GFS idea, the GFS is probably similar with its mean. It's just that the deterministic one is the one that's the big issue. Now, there is a gyre, like I said, but nothing comes up out of the Gulf. So, or out of the Caribbean. So, that's probably an outlier with one of the model members. You have to understand that they run these models many times. I think there's like 20 or 30 members of the GFS, and there's 20 or 30 members of the European, and then the Canadians, that's what this one is, the GEPS. It does the same thing. And if there were enough model members, versions of the model, that were spinning off a low down in the Southern Caribbean and bringing it over Cuba, that would be something to be concerned with. That means that there was enough computer models to affect the mean surface pressure and to bring something up there. So that would be something to be concerned with. But as we've seen here, as I've gone through it, that we do not have that. And that would be a little bit because we are about 26 days. We are 26 days out before the beginning of the season. 27, something like that. June 1st. 26 days is May 31st. So anyway, with that having gone and me babbling enough, and it seemed like that actually worked, I will bid you a fair adieu. Oh, and it was 40 minutes. Not bad.